Hi, I'm Jacob Beals, and I love movies. And recently I had a day off work, and when I get days off work, I like to watch movies. That's just something I enjoy. And some people might think this is weird, but the best days for me when it comes to movie watching is when I get to watch at least three movies. 3 movie days are the best. Because to me, that's like the perfect amount. You can get some stuff done, earlier on in the day, but then you can come home and watch movie after movie after movie. It's awesome. There ain't nothing like a 3 movie day. And because I had one of those 3 movie days recently, let's talk about it. The first of these 3 movies that I watched was a film called The Last Stop in Yuma County. And this is probably the most underrated of these movies, the most like unheard of the movies I watched. This movie starts out really quiet. A couple people are at this random cafe in the middle of, I think it's the Arizona desert. And then these bank robbers come in. And they're bank robbers from the start. So the whole time, something's going to pop off at some point. And then as the movie goes on, you have more people coming into the cafe, this random cafe, because next door there's a gas station. And this takes place back in like the 1960s, maybe 70s. It's a while ago. And this gas station is out of gas. So they're waiting on the gas truck to come to the station to fill it back up. So you have all these people waiting in this cafe. And only 2 of the people know that there's these bank robbers in this cafe with them. And like I say, it's one of those movies that's a bottle movie because it starts out really quiet. It's all in one place. And, as more characters come in, it starts to get a little more chaotic. And then there's a scene where everything just kind of pops and it gets even crazier from there. This is one of those movies, too, that had like a lot of unknown actors in it. Like I only recognized like 1 or 2 people in this. And they're people that I know their face, but I don't know their names. So it was really cool to have a movie with a bunch of unknowns be this really, really good. The next one I watched was one that came out in theaters earlier this year in the summer. And I missed it in the theaters. I thought it looked interesting, mainly because of the director. I think his name's David F. Sandberg, and I really liked his Shazam movies. I know that can kind of be a hot take, but because the Shazam movies in like the comic book world, especially the second one, I feel like gets kind of dumped on. But man, the first Shazam, I just think is so much fun, and I really, really dig it. But this guy, before he did the Shazam movies, he did a couple scary movies. I have not seen them. I know I need to check them out now. I think it was Lights Out and Annabelle Creation. And I know they have pretty good like reviews, or at least Lights Out does. I've heard Annabelle's good from some people who've seen it as well. But I had never seen those, but I wanted to check this out just because I, had heard of the director. I liked his work with what he did with Shazam. And that's why I watched, finally, after putting it off for so long, Until Dawn. It was on Netflix, so I thought, I'll see what this is like. And other than the director, the only thing I knew about this movie is that it was based off a video game. Like, I had seen the video game at different places for years, but I'd never played it. I knew it was like a scary game. And I'll watch scary movies all day long. But when it comes to like scary video games, I have a tough time playing them. I don't know. There's something like more real to me when you're playing those games. I think it's because you're actually doing something while you're sitting there rather than when you're just watching a movie, you're watching a movie. And I jump easy and stuff like that. So I don't know. Those horror games and me, they don't mix well. So because of that, I only knew stuff from the trailer. I knew this was kind of like a time loop thing. And that kind of excited me because I'm a sucker for time loop movies. I like movies like Groundhog Day, like Palm Springs, and especially Happy Death Day, which is another movie that kind of bends the horror genre with the time loop. And Happy Death Day is one of my favorites from like the last few years. I think it's just so much fun. I really, really dig that one. And I was kind of hoping this one would be sort of like that. And I guess it is, in the sense there's a time loop going on and some friends got to figure out how to break out of it. But other than that, it's not. This movie is a whole lot darker. And overall, I thought it was okay. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. It was just a decent movie. It has some really fun moments in it. And one thing I really actually did like about it, because I haven't played the game, maybe if you have played the game and you watch this movie, this won't be satisfying to you. But because I hadn't played the game, I had no idea what was coming next. So this property these group of friends are trapped on, I never knew what was going to pop out, like what monster or threat was going to get them. So every time it was a surprise, and they came up with some pretty crazy stuff for this franchise to attack these people. And I really like that. I like that element of surprise. But I have to admit, I wasn't really that scared through most of it. A lot of it was creepy. There was a lot of freaky looking stuff. But like one scene made me jump, and that was the scene that there's like a flashback scene. And if you've seen the movie, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's near the end. That got me a little bit. But other than that, I didn't find it really scary. And honestly, I think I would have liked this movie more if, and this is probably a complete betrayal to what the game is. So I'm sorry for any video game fans of the game that are watching this. But I think I would have liked the movie more if it actually did embrace like the fun of the concept and wasn't so dark. But I understand that the game is dark and what they were going for with it. And overall, I just thought it was all right. And at the end of this movie, they tease a sequel, and I would actually watch a sequel. There's plenty of scary movie franchises where I didn't really like the first one that much, but I went ahead and watched the sequel, and I liked it more. Or even ones where I liked the first one, but the sequels were even better. Like, I think a good example for me, and some people might not like me saying this, but The Nightmare on Elm Street, I think the first one's good, but I love the third one. I thought the third one was like way better. So I think you could do something like that with Until Dawn. Like they tease something at the end where they almost could maybe, the way I took it is Until Dawn could be the story of this time loop in a place could be like in a different setting. Maybe they could do that. Maybe they could do like a snowy setting or somewhere out in the jungle or something. I don't know. I don't know the rules of the time loop. I don't know the rules of Until Dawn. So maybe that'd be breaking all the rules. But hey, I'd be up for that. And then finally, the last movie I saw, I had to break out of my house to go see this one, which was good. I needed to. And I went to the theater to go see The Long Walk. This was a movie I didn't know much about. I knew like Stephen King had wrote the novel of it years ago. And that's about it, because I saw the trailer and it looked really intriguing. It looked really intense. And then I heard a lot of hype around it. Like lots of people were saying it was a really good movie. And let me tell you, this movie was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's probably in my top 5 of 2025 so far. Basically, in this movie, you have a big group of guys. I think there's 50 of them. I believe there's one from every state. And they're in this competition in this almost like future. I don't know if it's a future setting because it kind of feels like the past at the same time. I really like the way they set up this future. It almost could be like an alternative future or alternative timeline. But anyway, they're all in this competition where they got to walk. They got to maintain a pace of, I think it's 3 miles an hour. And they just got to keep walking until there's one of them left. And if you stop walking or something happens to you, you get offed, basically. And it's really, really intense. And a lot of people have said like stuff about this movie already, so I don't want to like repeat what a lot of other people have been saying. I probably will end up doing that anyway. But one thing I really loved in this movie that I thought was really cool is you have like these beautiful bonds between these guys, these really neat relationships and friendships that happen. And not even just friendships, but also like there's some intensity between some of them. Like one of them's kind of a jerk, and then one of them is a little bit of a maniac, and they all kind of collide, all these personalities. And I thought that was really interesting to have that in this sort of setting where they're just walking, but for a really intense reason. And I love that. But the heart of the movie is definitely between the characters that are played by Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson. I love their performances in this movie, and they just bring so many heartwarming moments to the screen in such a dark situation. And that's what I really liked about this movie. There's such a contrast. You have those moments where you just feel their bond and feel the power between it, but then you'll have like the next second there'll be a scene that like rips your heart out. So it's really interesting. And there's also scenes in this movie where like there'll be like a really beautiful scenery behind the characters walking, and then the next scene there'll be something really eerie or something really sad. And I really like that. I really like the way this movie shows the American countryside. I think it's really cool. And yeah, there's just a lot in this movie I really loved, but the big thing is the performances. Mark Hamill's really good in it too. He's really having an interesting career. I mean, I know he's done like a lot of voice work. I mean, obviously he's famous for playing the Joker, so he's no stranger to like playing villains. But like in the last couple of years, I've seen him just play some really interesting roles in live action form that I never thought I'd see Mark Hamill do, and I really, really dig it. But yeah, David Johnson and Cooper Hoffman, they are both just fantastic in this movie. I really, really loved what they brought to the the screen, and definitely a couple like my favorite performances of the year. And there's no way I could participate in The Long Walk. I was thinking about that while I was watching it, and it's one of those things where it's funny. You start out watching it and you think I could maybe do that, but then they start walking and they keep walking and they keep walking and they keep getting further and further, and you're like, oh, wait, there's no way I could do that. That's crazy. And it gets they have a mile counter on it, so you're watching it, and the longer they walk, the more exhausted you feel too. And it's really interesting. And that's another thing I found interesting about this movie. It's a really like heartbreaking movie, and parts of it are really hard to watch, but there's also stuff in it that's uplifting. So a lot of movies like that where they just have some really intense scenes in them, I don't really like to watch them more than once, or at least often. But this is a movie I could see myself rewatching, and I think it's because of how like much the characters endure and how much they overcome and how much you see them like come together in adversity and how good that is. So I think I could see myself rewatching this movie a lot, which is surprising. So out of these three movies, which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on all three of them, one of the three or two of the three, however many you've seen. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, and all your thoughts too.